Well, that's a tune called Choices, taken off Reflections by Tiger Lilly, who joins us now for her exclusive first interview on her new single. Tiger, thanks for joining us live this evening.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's really exciting to be doing my first interview about my single, and it's all the way over in Australia, so that's very cool.
Well, the news has been getting around quick that you are one of the hottest independent UK artists to be watching out from. The press have gone absolutely bunter from both the 2009 as well as the 2010 albums that you have out and about. What's the vibe been from your end?
I'm kind of like in the mindset of I'm working really hard, so, you get out or you get back what you put in type thing. But it's still, it's still really nice to see the fruits of my labour kind of coming out now. And, like you said, I released something first in 2009 and I've been feeding it year by year. And, it's great to actually hear that, especially in Australia and in the US, that my music's getting out all the way out there, which is good for an independent artist, because obviously I don't have a label behind me. I am my own label. So all the promotion I do, all the work that I put into getting my music out there is done, by myself and my little team here in my living room.
A lot of artists these days aren't even releasing a hard copy, which you have, of their material. They're just relying on the interwebs to get their music across. Has that been somewhat easier for you to communicate, or has it been, as Kobe Grant said, a personal endurance on your personal space?
I thought it was still important. I know people say, the days of the CDs are gone, but I still think people like to have something in their hand. They like something that they can have signed and that they can, keep as a collectible. So we didn't go mad on the volume. We only did a limited edition 1,000 run of the Reflections album. And I felt that having a physical copy and having shows, I could actually say, look, this is it. It's got a 14-page booklet with lyrics and photos, and people like that. Okay, the new generation are very much for digital, but there's still, a whole market out there of, older generation who still value the worth of the physical CD.
We started off by playing a tune called Choices there. What choices have you made in your musical career that others need to understand is the way to get your music out there? That's
a really good question, actually, and really appropriate to what I'm doing at the moment with the new single. A lot of musicians find it hard to accept that you have to move with the times and you have to, sometimes sacrifice a little bit of your personal favourite genre to get into the commercial market to be noticed. There are a lot of purists out there who want to keep it raw, keep it natural, and I started off that way, and it's not to say that I'm not going to continue in the future to do something that's, very acoustic, raw and edgy, but I wanted to move into more of a commercial market, so I collaborated with the US company Rockstone Music on my new single Letting Go, and it is a more pop West Coast kind of feel to it. So my advice to other musicians doing the same thing is that, sometimes you have to kind of like let the ego go and move with the times, and you have to see what is out there and what people are wanting, not so much what's going to please you, but what's going to please the mass market, what's going to please your audience.
But speaking about the mass audience, is it in some regards selling out your own ideas and music to get what many might class as the mainstream? Don't you feel you're going to lose a bit of that edge about who you really are?
There will be people that would say that, yeah. There will be a few that would say, you're losing a bit of who you are, but I think I've done enough background work and there's enough substance behind me before doing that people, if they're not so keen on the new commercial sound, there is still the raw, edgy material with Reflections and with my EP Love and Lies, and moving forward, there will be other work that I'll be doing that is on those lines. So I'm not necessarily saying don't do it at all, but you have to make some choices to get noticed by a bigger market, and by doing so, you need to go commercial.
Do you seem to have a great affinity, and that company you mentioned earlier would actually tap into this, of enjoying the film market as well? Because I'm thinking Chasing Ghosts was actually premiered at BAFTA from memory as well.
My background is actually as an actress, and worked on the UK touring jobbing actress, UK scene as a jobbing actress, and I do have that kind of link to TV and film, which I'm really passionate about, and it's an avenue that I think more musicians should look into, because you can get stuck in focusing on getting something into the charts and not looking at other avenues. And to get a syndication, opens other doors for you, and it's another market for there's the music lovers who love their new music or what's in the charts and all that spectrum, and then there's your film lovers who love their movie soundtracks. So you're tapping into a new market there, and that's the idea with with Chasing Ghosts. Yes, I did a launch party which was really well received at BAFTA, and the song "Letting Go." We're hoping that a TV series or a movie, blockbuster movie, will have it on the soundtrack. It's very, very much, I believe, and a few people have said, the equivalent of "Take My Breath Away" on Top Gun. That kind of, the anthem.
Going to get to the new single. We've only got a teaser at the moment. We'll explain why in just a moment as well. But you're talking, for example, on the TV show The Crownies here in Australia, that Adelaide music from Magic Dirt, her tune, pretty much the whole thing was played during the episode during one of the raunchy scenes, and that's going to propel her. And also Sia, of course, was in the Twilight soundtrack, for example.
Okay.
Let's talk about the new single, because that's why you join us for the exclusive chat this evening on Radio Adelaide's Radio Notes. And here it is now. Just going to play the 30-second teaser. And the reason being is it's in Abbey Road, still of all places.
Yeah, we decided we really wanted to, with everything I do, I kind of like to make a statement, hence the launch of Chasing Ghosts at BAFTA and, trying to get the national press down, etc. So with this new single, we wanted to have not only the US connection, but, something, the legendary Abbey Road Studios to master it. So yes, it's currently at Abbey Road being mastered, and that's why we've only put out a 30-second teaser, because it's being released officially on iTunes on August the 30th.
Well, hang in there for 30 seconds, because we're going to play it right now for the Radio Adelaide Radio Notes listeners. Tiger Lily's new single, the teaser there, it is being released on August 30th through iTunes across the world. She joins us online this evening from her home in Slough. That particular tune, Letting Go, is that what you had to do before getting married?
Letting go, is that what I had to do before I got married? Your husband is sat right next to me, and he actually mentioned it yesterday. He said, because of all the songs, I didn't write this one. This is written by Mirella Castellano, who's a fantastic writer from
You're running away. You're running away from the point.
Did I have to let go? I'm running away from the point. Yes, I did. But I didn't write this. But yes, no, letting go, I did have to let go before I got married. But I wouldn't say I let go of anything other than, an ex at the time who I was chatting to the writer about. And she actually wrote this song whilst I was telling her about letting go of this past relationship, and it was just before I met my husband. So it's actually written before I got married. But yes, no, in answer to your question, yes, you do have to let go of certain things before, once she ties a knot. It's not your freedom.
I know the husband is right next to you now, but I did want to ask, when you go out and perform these songs off the album or the new single itself, do you find it a little awkward? Is it therapeutic, or is it actually a bit of a challenge?
Do you know what? I was saying to him yesterday, because he said it's quite difficult to hear my sets because all the songs are written about, someone I've been with or experiences I've had, and he's like, it's like I have to relive all these experiences that you've had with these people, and I said, when I first wrote them, it was therapy. It was therapeutic to write and perform them, because I was getting all these emotions out. But as time, they've taken on different meanings as time's gone on. And obviously being married now, I don't have that heartbreak that I had when I wrote some songs like Chasing Ghosts and Wait For You and Promises. There's a lot of pain in those songs that, writing them, performing them at the time did heal that part of me. It was like getting all the hurt and putting it into that album was kind of like closure. But now when I perform them, I still sing them with as much passion, but with a different undertone. It's more, asking the audience to relate to it in whatever way they want to relate to it, and it's sharing. It's using that as an elevation for their emotions, So, I've seen people cry when I've been playing, and I've gone up to them and said, "Are you okay?" And they're like, "Yeah, just the situation that I'm in. that's exactly how I feel, you know. So it's therapeutic in a different way now to when it first started out.
So as we're saying, it's not actually not giving 100% to the song, but it's giving the song to the audience for them to have a moment with.
Yes, because as a songwriter, you know, you can get caught up in the self, you know, and you forget actually, you know, you're sharing that, and what meaning it has to you could mean, you know, just as much, if not more, or something different to another audience member or to the listener. So you share that, and I think when I first started out, it was more about me and putting my emotion into the song, and, you know, kind of like you get, you know, engulfed in your own emotions. But you know, now it's a very different experience when I'm performing, and I kind of like to speak to people afterwards and you know, get feedback from them on how they felt on certain songs, and, you know, if anyone related to any of it. And that's really nice to share that.
Someone else actually wrote the new single. So what's all that about? Have you run out of ideas, or do you prefer collaborating with other singer-songwriters?
Do you know what? That's funny that you should say that. Well, running out of ideas, you know, the reason I collaborated with Morella is and Rockstone is there are several reasons. It was kind of difficult for me, having been writing my own songs since I was like 12 years old, you know, a very long time, to actually go, okay, someone else, you know, I'm going to sing someone else's song. But we met on Facebook, and I'd seen all the, you know, big productions they'd worked on, and, you know, people like Bon Jovi and Natasha Bedingfield and Josh Groban, and, you know, and all the films that they'd worked on. And I thought, wow, this is a really good writer, really good producer. Rob Persaud is a great producer, and all that he worked for a long time with Hans Zimmer, and I thought this is a great opportunity. And when I listened to Morella's work, we became friends. So I used to speak to her it was before I met my husband, and I used to speak to her about, you know, some things that I was going through, and there was a friendship there. So I felt an honour to actually sing something of hers. And the collaboration, even though I couldn't be out in LA, was done via Skype, which was a whole new experience rather than writing in my bedroom or in my living room, to actually go into a studio and Skype out to Los Angeles and to have them co-produce it. I embraced it as a new experience rather than I'm not sure where to go next. I thought, you know what, this is a new avenue. It's a TV and film market. It's a writer that I really respect, a company that's absolutely fantastic. You know, let's give it a go and see if we can get this song out there and get some syndication for it.
I want to ask, because we have mentioned that you have done film TV before and now doing the music, but sort of inkling towards the film and TV through the soundtrack avenues now. Do you perceive yourself being one of those members on some singing TV show that might exist out in the world and actually making it big that way as well?
Do you know what? I did actually speak to my manager about this. You know, we had a conversation about my acting and whether I should pursue that. And there is, I mean, I trained at the London School of Musical Theatre, so I trained in dance, acting and voice. And I was really like tempted to go back and, you know, do some stuff. And yeah, you know, I had an acting agent in the past in London, and I think, you know, off the back of this single, if it gets the recognition that I'm hoping it will get, then yeah, I can see myself doing it, you know, that as well. But I don't think I'd use it as so much as check me out, I'm this great actress, and also, you know, while you're at it, check out my music. I think it would be something that I would do alongside each other rather than hoping that it would be an avenue from one to the other. You mentioned also this husband of yours, which you've recently picked up, as you do. You sent him down to Bali to knock him in, all that kind of stuff. How's that all going, and has that sent a new wave of writing for you? Obviously, the albums are about exes and relationships and everything else, but have you got a new wave of writing that you're working on at the moment? Yeah, do you know what? It has, because like you said, it was a very different motivation, and, my inspiration for my other songs have been, like you said, about exes, breakups, and now I'm settled, happy, in a great marriage and stuff, and in the honeymoon period, so to speak, and the ideas are kind of it's taking a new direction, definitely. So I've kind of dabbled with, more of the upbeat dance type anthems, not to say dance style music, but more uplifting type music. So I think the second album will be very different from Reflections, which it's by no means depressing. It's there is hope in I like to give hope in the sadness as well. So it's not kind of like an album that you'd kind of cry your eyes out to. It's more, you know, giving that kind of sharing the experience and showing that there's hope. And the last track is The Other Side of Tomorrow. And there are songs on that album like New Life, you know, about having a fresh start. So I think, you know, now that I'm working with Morella and Rockstone Music, that you know, we will do some more uplifting stuff, and the collaboration will go further from co-writing as well as, you know, just Morella writing and Rob producing.
Let's talk about the charity work that you do, because you do a lot of charity work. Do you find doing the charity work comes side to side with the music career that you're pathing yourself with?
Yeah, it does. You know, from day one, I you know, like I said, you know, even before I was doing the Tiger Lily stuff, I was always doing charity work. So, you know, I feel, you know, it's important to have that balance in life of giving and receiving, and yeah, it has gone hand in hand. I get a lot of requests to perform at charity events, and you know, I'd say I do at least one a month. You know, most months, and usually they range from various cancer charities to teenage leukemia charities to homeless charity. You know, there's a wide spectrum. And I think it's important that you don't just go out there as a musician, go buy my tickets, buy my CD, buy. You know, I like to, if I do the charity events, I always say, you know, I'll donate 70% of the album sales back to the charity. So, you know, I do think it goes hand in hand, and it's an important aspect for me as an artist. I'm meeting later on today at the Golders Green Coliseum to meet with their church, because they're putting on during London Fashion Week in February a collaboration between musicians and designers. And the idea is that the big show that they're putting on at I think it's is it the Hippodrome, Ray? Yeah, it's the Hippodrome. It's beautiful big theatre, but it's part of their church. The Golders Green Church? They are raising money for the church during London Fashion Week, but bringing musicians and designers together, which is also something that I've always had a tie-in since I've started, which is to promote up-and-coming designers by wearing their garments when I perform. So it helps me out as a musician, because obviously image is important, and I, you know, return the favour of the styling and the clothes by promoting the designer and the label. And this event in February does exactly that. So yeah, this coming together of sharing ideas, and also raising money for the church, which is you know, fantastic collaboration of creativity and fundraising.
Tiger, you mentioned image, and I for a moment there I'm going to ponder where fashion and church actually fit in together, but hey, that's just me. Let's talk about image, though, in terms of the music industry. You are a woman as well. A lot of people have said...
Last time I checked, yes.
There are musicians like Adele, they go, oh, she's a woman, but she's comfortable with herself. How much does image really need to be part of a female performer's itinerary these days? Is it still that key?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
and is that good?
I do think so. Yeah, as long as you're a positive role model for. I mean, I've been commented on a few times about being a positive role model for you know, young girls, because I'm not super skinny. I'm not unhealthily large.
But you are hot, though. You are good looking.
Oh, thank you. I just got a pat on the head from my husband. He appreciates the comment too. I am hot.
No.
I go to the gym, and I think image is very, very important. I mean, the reason I started writing was because I was bullied at school for being overweight. So, you know, I do think having a healthy image is important, and I do always advertise, like on Facebook or Twitter. I'm at the gym, you know, I'm training, working hard. And I spoke to someone yesterday about it, in fact, that, you know, yes, you can be talented and, you know, have all these great songs, but it's like having, you're essentially a can of baked beans, you know. If you're just in a silver can, doesn't matter how good the baked beans are on the inside, unless it's packaged well, no one's going to buy it. So, you know, you are your own product. You have to dress it up. You have to look good. You know, so people buy not only into your music, it's the whole lifestyle. They want to know what you're wearing, who you're wearing, you know. And I think providing that you are comfortable in yourself. There are people, like you say, like Adele. She's comfortable in herself. I think she's absolutely beautiful, and her voice is out of this world. So, you know, she doesn't have to be super skinny. No one cares about that. Her music sells herself, and she really is in the minority because I don't like mentioning other artists, but, you know, you go on the flip side, you've got the super skinny artists in the very sexy outfits, which, you know, to be honest, it doesn't really matter what comes out their mouth as long as, you know, they get put out super sexy videos, people are watching it. So, you know, it is still important. I embrace the fact that it's important, and I make sure that it's, you know, part of being an independent artist. You have to discipline yourself to make sure that you put in a certain amount of time for each aspect of your product, which is yourself. So that includes, you know, going to the gym, practicing, you know, the guitar, spending time with songwriting, you know, vocal exercises. You know, you structure your day as if every day you're getting ready for a big performance. You just don't know what's going to happen day to day.
Is still the songs at the end of the day that will make or break a performer if they're going to be good. Is that true?
Yes, definitely. I do think, you know, the emphasis is on the song, definitely. Although I am inclined to say that, you know, people are, unfortunately, most people are shallow, and before they even get a chance to hear you, they see you first. So, you know, they want to buy into your looks.
Letting Go will be out on August the 30th. Is this part of a new album, or is it very much focused as just a single that is going to aim towards the film market that we were talking about earlier this evening?
You know, we're still the latter is what we'd originally planned, that it was going to be a song on its own right, that it's aimed for the film and television market. Depending on how it's received, because it's so different to my other stuff, there might be an album of that nature. There definitely is going to be a second album. I'm always writing, but whether it's on the lines of the single Letting Go depends on how it's received and the success, you know, that comes from it. You know, that will determine which way I go with the next album.
And with all this touring, who are you looking forward to, be a dream or not, to perform with the second album around the corner?
Do you know, I love, and she's one of yours, Missy Higgins.
Well, she's allegedly got a new record about to come out, so there'd be no problem in touring with her if she ever gets that album out.
Oh, she's beautiful. She's one of my favourite artists, one of my inspirations.
What do you like about the old Missy?
She is true to, really, you know, she's that raw, edgy artist that, you know, she's pure, you know, she's what the purists love, and as I've started out that way, you know, I love, you know, she's a beautiful songwriter, pianist, performer. She just, you know, absolutely captivating. You know, you watch her, and I've not had the pleasure of seeing her live yet, but there's a YouTube video of her performing the Special 2 at the Sydney Opera House, and you just fall into your laptop, into your computer screen watching her. She's enchanting and just raw. Can
I let you in on a little secret, which unfortunately every listener is going to hear as well? And that's
go on.
And that is,
you're going to destroy my vision of her.
No, of me. That I did see her live at the Theberton Theatre, and I did cry.
Oh, thank you for sharing that.
And of course, Tunes for Change, we'll be talking about in the next couple of weeks. One of her songs will be appearing on that, and they've been working very closely with her as well. Tiger Lily, thank you very much for joining us live this evening on the program. The new single, by the way, on iTunes worldwide on the 30th of August, currently in Abbey Road.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.